gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the SAP. This is the Come Full Circle episode number 360. Joining me is Tasha Courtney from Kentucky, USA. My name is Dave Neal from the charming and humble state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the SAP. Did I lose anyone already with my cheesy intro? Did I? When
you say this is the Come Full Circle episode, everyone does not think C-O-M-E, and they're just trying to understand what you meant.
You're being dirty. You mean the C-U-M come? You thought that was is an episode about come? No, it's about coming full circle.
360 episodes. Yeah, now we get it. But you really emphasized the C-O-M-E.
But that's the comic. You need to land it on the 360.
Yeah. So we've done 360 episodes.
If I said this is the 360th episode, listen to how lame it is the way you want me to. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 360th episode, also known as the Come Full Circle episode. Now,
it still sounds like not C-O-M-E.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's come together fully in a circle with episode 360. This is our Halloween episode, everybody. This is the third attempt at us recording an episode. We recorded 10 minutes of hot fire. Maybe I'll layer it. I'm going to give that to the Patreon.
Oh my God.
I'm going to give those 10 minutes to the Patreon.
It was so lame, and you guys didn't miss anything.
I did 10 minutes on me trying to kill a fly with one of those zapper rackets. I wish I could use a zapper racket on you sometimes. I wish I could put the wattage to the right level that doesn't hurt you, but it just chills you out. Like if you're ever stressed getting ready for work and I just and you're just like back to normal. I want to control you. Anyway, hey folks, how are you? I'm here with my better half, as it's called, Tasha Courtney. This is our 360th public episode. I'll have you know there's probably about 30 or so private episodes, one or two of which Tasha's been a part of. But I must say I've pretty much been the mule that runs the Patreon.
Well, that's okay. I haven't seen any dollars from it either.
That's right. As long as you don't ask for the money for it. I haven't linked it up to the bank account yet, but I've been spending the Patreon money. We got if you're watching this on the YouTube or on Instagram, we've got a new lighting kit, and but we bought a new camera, which is, if you go to Tasha's Instagram, you'll see Tasha Courtney, the good Instagram husband work that I've been doing. I think I've been putting in the hours. I'm getting the millimeters right. You look good at 140 millimeters. I crunch down. I got to do, lumbar support. I got to stretch my hamstrings. You don't just take a woman's photo, folks. This is what I've learned. You don't just take her photo. You got to show her that you're working hard. You know what I mean? Like no one's at the right height to take a photo. You got to crouch down. Anyway, this is not interesting. But I also wanted to go over what we haven't done is talk about the engagement. We haven't talked about that.
We haven't not.
We're engaged, and it's been about 6 weeks, I think we're calling it.
That makes sense.
Still together. How does it feel? Does it feel different?
Actually, thinking about it's probably been more like, I guess 6 weeks.
So we went to Thailand. We have not. Have we not even done a Thailand review?
We have not done any recap at all.
The funny part, before we get into that, is for the people that are watching, we haven't even addressed what we're wearing. We forgot that it's
the Halloween episode, which means Christmas starts in 5 days.
This is why you don't listen, guys. You don't want to date somebody who takes Christmas too seriously before Black Friday. Black Friday used to be the time that was the early time to do Christmas. Now this bitch over here wants to start Christmas on November 1st.
Listen, if the radio stations start playing music on November 1st, then I'm allowed to start listening to it on November 1st.
Yeah, but they also have stations that play nothing but Rush Limbaugh. Does that mean you have to start listening to Rush Limbaugh because they play it?
I don't like Rush Limbaugh.
Okay. Yeah, Chase, my sister, posted on Facebook. She's like, there's only 8 Fridays left until Christmas. And I go, Jesus Christ, folks. Can we just have one holiday at a time? We haven't hit Thanksgiving yet.
Listen, it just turned 2019 and now it's over. So it is true that time flies and you're going to run out of time to shop for Christmas presents.
We need to decide on like ethical, non-gift things to do for each other, because I actually think it's a cop-out to true gifts that you can give to each other. I think it's easy to be like, what do you want? And then it's never been easier to punch on Amazon like a laptop case or whatever. You know what I mean? It's never been easier.
Yeah, I do believe that gift giving is nice when it's thoughtful, when you like really think about what somebody might want.
But it's still easy to buy. You don't have to go anywhere and fight people. You just do it all online.
Who cares about the ease of it? What I'm talking about is like, instead of asking for a list from somebody, you come up with the perfect gift for them without them telling you. That's That's a challenge.
I'm
And
saying
you run the risk of
if I
getting the wrong thing.
wanted a condenser microphone that can only be found at the B&H in New York City, where you got to talk to 17 Orthodox Jewish guys and they send it through the chute, you know what I mean? Like the very if then you showed up with this beautiful condenser microphone from 34th and 7th at B&H in Manhattan, New York City, New York State, USA, I would be like, whoa, that was a fucking find. But I know you can just be like, oh, that's what you want, babe. Go on Amazon. So
you don't appreciate it as much because I didn't have to run 3,000 miles to get it?
I think you should go 5,600. I think in general, the economics of buying gifts has just changed. That it's just not. I think across everybody, if you really think about it, it's just not as big of a deal as it used to be. I don't know. Anyway, that's for 8 episodes from now. We'll do a gift buying episode. But speaking of gifts, we exchanged engagement vows. Is that a thing?
Vows?
I asked you to be my wife, but what did you ask? You didn't ask me anything in return.
I said yes. So that's already my gift.
But as a feminist, you should be worried about the property exchange that happens on an engagement. I feel like feminists take all the good and don't worry about the bad. Like you're like you get a diamond ring and I'm happy for you. I would never use it against you. It's beautiful. It's perfect for you. It was meant for you. But like, don't you worry that that's some sort of like bought and sold manipulation type of thing? It's a pretty crooked thing. The proposals.
I would say that proposals have evolved over time. I don't really see any problem. It's a promise. It's a promise. And if we break our promise, then I give it back.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
I think if you can give it back before the marriage, but once there's a marriage,
then
you
it's
consummated
mine. I fulfilled my promise, so I get to keep it. Even if we're only married for one day.
So the morning of the wedding, I have to really consider. And what if I break the promise? Does that mean I get it back?
No. If you break the promise, I get to keep it.
I got insurance on the ring, so I can just chop your hand off. I think I said that on a previous episode. I'm just saying you could. I think I said that on the Patreon episode that if I really wanted to, I could just the ring's insured. More than you are, actually.
The ring has better insurance.
Better insurance. If you ever need any dental work done, just chuck that ring into the Hudson River. I don't know. We're not in New York. I'm using New York terms here. So we're celebrating Halloween and stuff. It's weird. It's a few days before Halloween. We go to our annual Halloween party that no one shows up to. We did it last night. I shouldn't talk too much shit, but I like to talk shit about friends just to see who's listening. I like to do that.
I ate so much shit yesterday that I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to eat any junk at the Halloween party. And it was almost like it was comforting to me to know that like I was in so much pain before I got there from eating shit that I was like, there's no way I'm going to come home with a bag of candy. And right there's two bags.
So we got 2 bags of candy. I'm a sad, like I've yet to graduate, become enlightened from my childhood need for sweets, and I literally got in the car to leave the party, and I was still upset that no one had cut into the cake yet. So there's just a perfectly good cake sitting there.
Someone's gonna eat the cake, or she's just gonna chuck it straight in the cat.
She's probably gonna throw the cake out. I'm imagining I'm gonna drive by their house today.
Why are you sad for the cake though?
I've always been this way where I'm very emotional. I'm very empathic to things I shouldn't have empathy towards, like non-energy living things. So like if I see a toy, like as a kid, if I saw a toy that wasn't getting played with enough, I'd bring it out and play with it. That's kind of fucked up.
So like Toy Story wouldn't have been a movie if it was your toy.
Oh no, I'm like the socialism of I would have had every toy gets equal amount of playtime. Every toy's got universal playtime. And the richest of toys have to give more playtime to the cheapest of toys. That's my Bernie Sanders. I think so. Anyway, so I'm like it's itching my skin right now thinking of a cake that's sitting on top of a dumpster, knowing full well that top 2/3 of the cake is still good. You know what I mean? Like
okay. So yesterday, I went to this like party thing in West Hollywood, and they had food trucks there. They had a pizza truck and they had an ice cream truck called Cool House, and they have vegan ice cream and vegan cookie things, and they make ice cream sandwiches, like custom ice cream sandwiches, right? And normally when you and I are together, just normally in general, I am able to throw out what I don't want. When I start to feel bad, when my stomach hurts,
you give it to me,
or I just throw it away. I don't have to eat the whole giant cookie sandwich. But yesterday I was really trying to do like the last bite club. And I think that's why I felt so bad, is like because I really finished that whole ice cream sandwich, even though I was done probably 2/3 of the way through it. Instead of just tossing it out, I finished it.
No, but imagine that every meal. That's me.
But the point of this is that just don't do that. It's really easy once you put it into practice. You don't owe the sandwich eating the whole sandwich. You should definitely, it's normal to like try and have your eyes the same size as your stomach so you don't take too much on your plate when you're at a party and waste food. But
it's just built into my psyche. Growing up, you got to finish your plate. There's poor kids somewhere else. And it doesn't make any sense.
That's how you get fat.
That's how I was fat and still am. I'm trying to wear a man's leotard. Do we mention what our costumes are yet? I don't think we did. How about we just don't mention it the whole episode from now on? You got to go to our Instagram to see what we are. But I am wearing a leotard and I do feel okay. And I you know what? Here's what I love about this is either about getting old or just becoming more comfortable in my own skin, is I have no problem talking to strangers about very personal things. Like someone yesterday congratulated us on a new sponsor. Manscaped is going to be a sponsor. I think next episode we'll do our first read with them. And they were like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's like a men's grooming thing." And I mentioned that I've shaved all of my balls. All of my balls. There's not an ounce of hair unless I forgot.
How many balls do you have?
All of them. And Manscaped, and again, this isn't the promo read, but because I'm not going to do it this episode, but they've got like an ability to not cut you. I should really save the gory parts for when I do the podcast read, because I really want to. I've bled before. I've bled with some bad trimmers. Anyway, I used this on my face. I've got a mustache right now for the audio listeners, but everything but the mustache went. It's all gone. Balls. Base of the dick hair, it's off the table. Then Manscaped gives you a little bit of a ball lotion you put on. I don't know what it's got in it. It just makes you feel spry. It makes you feel youthful again. And I'm just telling this to strangers, and I'm watching. These are like two dudes that work in finance, and I'm watching their like wives or girlfriends just look at me like with disdain. But also, who cares? And then
maybe you should take that to heart sometime. What is and is not appropriate party conversation.
No, because then they started opening up to me about things. One guy's asking me about my hair products and gels, and we just had this open, simple, fun conversation. And I bet
he came home and told his wife today that you're a weirdo.
I bet you they bought some. I bet you she's gonna buy him a Manscaped razor trimmer. Anyway, the point is that I think that when the second you open up the conversation to just be like, hey, we're gonna be like our friends Sarah Ann and Ben. Once she talks about sucking dick, we're all fucking having a party. Like, you know what I mean? That sounded once they talk about sex a lot. And it's safe for us to do this in this conversation. People listen in their earbuds at work. Which, by the way, I've had the funniest. We really do have the best listeners. I almost don't want us to become more popular, because I do like that I can track some of our listeners. Like, I do like that there's probably about 50 or so, maybe 30 that actively communicate with me about like what their listening tendencies are. And I feel like if you get too big, you're not going to be able to catch the rest of them, because I know there's more out there. You look at the numbers, there's 1,000 or 2,000 of you guys, but like 30 or so let me know what's up. And one lady was talking about how at work she listens and like her Bluetooth died, so it went to her like computer speakers or something.
Oh no, and you need a warning on each of these episodes.
And then it's like, like she unplugs the Bluetooth, and I'm like, and then I shaved my taint area. I had to bend over and pull a hamstring. But yeah, I mean, this is not meant for listening in the family radio when you drive the Woody station wagon out to camping trips. This is not meant for that. This is for you in the earbuds. But anyway, I don't know. I just think it's nice and refreshing the more we just open up and talk about things like look, I mean, if you're going to 69, don't you want a clean shaved area? Don't you want to spray some caramel flavored Halloween lube on each other and just lick around? I mean, you get to this point when you've dated somebody for so long that you start experimenting. Like, I got a new bit that I wrote. So we saw the worst stand-up comedian of all time. I won't go into it anymore. I just saw this person literally bombed their ass off so bad, but during their bomb, it made me think of eating ass. This person bombed so bad, I was thinking of eating ass, and I was like, I can understand like staunch Republicans or like people that are super conservative, that are super pro-life, because I can relate to them with drawing a line in the sand. Like, I understand that they have this ideology that they can't cross over because it's ingrained into them, and I'm that way with eating ass.
You can't eat ass? No,
but I can understand that that's like a craze for people, but I don't think there's a world where I want to eat your or anybody's ass. I don't see that, and I don't know, does that make me selfish? Is eating ass something you do for others, or is it a gift you give to yourself?
What if I use the shower head on my bum?
You'd have to use a chocolate syrup kegerator on your bum for me to start punching around down there, eating it like a fun pack.
This is gross.
It's gross.
Nobody wanted to hear that.
Some people like to eat ass, and I just see that spiral brown eye, whatever they call it these days. And I just, it was hard enough for me growing up. The first time I heard about flavored condoms, I was 29. No, I was like probably 9 or 10. The local 7-Eleven had flavored condoms, and I just found out.
You knew what a condom was?
Maybe not that age. Maybe I was a little bit older, but I was definitely 10 or 11. I was old enough to know that, like, oh, this is what you use to. As soon as I knew about sex, I heard about condoms because I was growing up in Newport. It was like not it's a middle class town. You see how it is. You see condoms. I'd see a condom on the ground, like walking downtown. There's a beautiful part of downtown Newport. It's all these colonial homes, so the homes are right on the sidewalk, and you'd see a condom on the ground, and you'd look up, and you'd just do the engineering math and go, oh, some dude fucked some chick on the second floor and threw it out the window. That's what it had to have been.
Who throws their trash out the window?
No, not trash. Condoms. Used condoms.
Ew,
well, but then you think about it.
Not the wrapper?
No, I'm talking balloons. Balloons full of yoo-hoo coming out the window. I mean, I'm assuming they didn't fuck on the sidewalk. I know in Los Angeles, we would assume it's just a couple of homeless people fucking on the sidewalk. But in Newport, Rhode Island,
or someone in their car threw it out the window.
No, but this is a college party town.
I feel like that makes more sense than out a home window when there's a trash can inside.
Even when you're 10 years old, there's some forensics you can do when you look at a condom on the ground. You can tell the skid path, the coefficient of friction. Coefficient of friction? I'm getting
math was never my strong
Yeah, you were
suit.
really bad at math. I mean,
No, it was not.
If anyone wants to have fun, take Tasha out to lunch and let her pay for the tip and watch the fucking protractor she has to get out to understand what 20% is.
No, okay.
You look at me like you got beads of sweat like you're taking the SATs.
No, I'm just thinking, and you're always jabbering like you do. You never can let 1 second of silence pass between us.
If a train's
and I'm
traveling
trying
at 20
to do
miles
some
an hour,
math in my head.
How much is 18%?
Okay, listen. Maybe math was not like the most natural of subjects for me, but I did take calculus. I went all the way to the highest levels of math. So give me a little credit.
The caveat is in Kentucky. So I mean, if you have 3 KFCs opened up in a 12-mile radius.
But I'll tell you what,
how
I was
many
actually
Confederate
thinking about
flags?
this on our hike the other day. I was thinking about word problems and what bullshit they are. Word problems are really annoying, and I understand how they're useful for real life because sometimes you're trying to figure out something that would be a word problem.
What if we do this? What if we create a word problem right now? How about this? This is a good idea. Let's create a word problem right now for the SAP, and whoever answers it first, we send them a package of soap for Christmas.
Okay, we have no soap made right now, right?
No, we don't. We have to make soap. But we're going to make... Okay, so listen, get your pen and paper out. The first person to get me the answer to this word problem is going to get a package of soap handmade by Tasha
Are you
Courtney.
confident that you can answer this word problem?
No, I'm going to have to re-listen to it because I haven't written it yet. Okay, so if the SAP podcast was founded in 2013 and had 14 original listeners, and for the next 200 episodes, it gained 17 listeners, but then on the 300th episode, it lost half of its listeners. And then the next 60 episodes, it gained 50 listeners an episode. How many listeners do we have? That sounds like a good one.
Sure, but you're definitely going to have to re-listen to that because you made that way more complicated than it needed to be.
Yeah, I know. And I left out, I think, look, if I left anything out in there, just assume I didn't gain any listeners because I think I left out 100 episodes there. So assume that we went stagnant for those episodes. Anyway, that's the SAP word problem. You get a free package of soap wherever you are, and we'll send it to you. We actually owe Oz some soap, one of our Patreon listeners. I told him we don't have any yet. And also, I think we're going to...
soap is not going to be ready by Christmas.
Oh, it will be, yeah. No, we're going to make it in the next couple weeks.
3 months to cure.
But here's what we need to do.
We only have 2 months till Christmas.
No, here's the problem is the good thing is you can mail it to people, and then while it's still curing, it fragrances their home. But what we need to do, I think, is go simplify it and just do one, maybe two different flavors. With the first,
that's fine with me. That's what we did last time.
But also, did you see that soap, that like middle-aged soap that my mom had? It was just normal soap, but the branding of it was really funny. I think we should do funny branding. That way we can cut off like certain brands and be like, this is the soap for like your hoo-has, or this is your nutsack soap, and we can, or like this is a one night stand soap, and it's like the shitty one, the shitty ends, like the end of a loaf, that like the end of the soap loaf will be the one night stand soap where you give it to the person you don't really care about. Anyway, folks, let's move on from here. So it's Halloween. We're dressed up. We went to the Halloween party last night. It used to be that Halloween was the one night everyone could dress up slutty, and I mean slutty in a term for both men and women.
As you get older, you don't want to dress slutty anymore.
Well, I still do. I want to be as gay as possible. I wanted to wear glitter last night. I'm dressed as a Dancing with the Stars contestant. I don't think
you said you weren't going to say.
Boy. Well, you got to go to the page to see if I'm telling the truth. And I'm wearing a man's leotard, although right now it's the morning after. So, and by the way, we both woke up hungover. We didn't have a lick of alcohol. I had a Red Bull. I had a sugar-free Red Bull last night.
Yeah, I just had sugar, and I feel like I got hit by a train.
Boy, does it make you feel bad, though? Because, look, we should be dressing up in exotic characters and fucking... You know who I think fucks is Lucy and Sky. They're always dressed up as, like... They're always, like, dressing up as the sexiest version of themselves. I think we should have them on the podcast and see if it's all talk or if they're out there banging, because they always have that one friend. They're traveling with this other chick. They went to Costa Rica with another chick, and I think they might be swingers.
Maybe.
Do you think they're swingers?
Maybe.
Get them on the line right now. Call Lucy. Are you guys swinger? What do you guys do? I mean, I'm going to tag them in this, and we're going to find out. Because then he'll have like she'll take photos of him like hugging the other chick, and I'm thinking if you and I were hanging out, you wouldn't take a photo of me hugging Sammy. You know what I mean?
Would I not? Or maybe I would just be chill, Dave. I don't think that you have ulterior motives.
You just said Dave like it was a slur. Maybe I'll just be chill, Dave. The hard E at the end, Dave. I don't know. Who would you like to go on a vacation with if we went with somebody?
We could go with Sammy and Michael.
But you ever wonder,
I think they'd be chill to travel with.
Don't take this the wrong way, but you've never had a fantasy where we go camping with another couple and they just knock on the thing and then zoop, 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 and then you just
listen,
they open up the little zipper and a little dick or tits come through the other end.
Categorize men and women, but I don't think that it's true. Where did we hear this the other day? I don't have sex on my mind 24/7. I just don't.
Well, this is a sex actually podcast
about my friends.
You don't have. Listen, I'll be okay with this. There isn't one of my buddies that you'd want to fuck.
Sorry, I don't want to offend your buddies, but no.
Yeah, I got some unfuckable buddies. If you're listening out there, Joe Welk, he's a podcast listener, past guest. He's always trying to. Whenever I've got any female guest at all, he's always like, "Yo, man, hook it up, bro." Like, I don't know, man. Just ask her to fuck. Not Tasha, but in general, just ask a chick to fuck. When it used to be on Halloween, this was your chance. Halloween's an icebreaker. And this is what it's still good for, because I think for our listeners that are out there that are still in the hunt trying to get some, I need to live vicariously through them, because there's nothing.
You know what I heard yesterday? That Happy Halloween text is just you up, but undercover.
Happy Halloween is just...
It's your ex in camouflage.
Oh, interesting. So that's the way to like, hey, Happy Halloween. What are you doing?
If someone's sending you like a holiday text, that's a reminder. Like, it's just undercover you.
Do you remember being single and like seeing any sort of men's costume that caught your eye? Because I don't know. Because here's the deal, right? Men will look at... Halloween's a great time for women to dress any way that they want to dress, okay? They call it like it's the one time of year you can be a slut. I don't need to use that term. It's sexual expression at your best. You can be... It's like going to a Coachella. You can be
as free as you want.
But now
you can wear the tiniest bottoms and the tiniest top, or you can wear a giant furry costume.
Yeah, you can show some nipples. It's all... Everything's on the table. You can do whatever you want to do. You can be a because it used to be... I was reading this article. I'll just paraphrase it, but it used to be before like the year 2000, you know that how they're saying the year 2000.
No.
Conan O'Brien used to do a thing in the 90s talking about how it would be in the future in the year 2000. And anyway, it's 19 and a half years later, and it's still funny to me how quickly we age because that was one of my favorite bits growing up. But it used to be being sexy was the Halloween costume. You would just dress up sexy. And then what happened in the late 90s, thanks to Hit Me Baby One More Time and the fetishizing of everything, and also manufacturers just said, fuck it, we'll make you anything you want sexy. Sexy Handmaid's Tale. There's a sexy Donald Trump wig out there that you can get. Sexy Harry Potter. It's just sexy, push-up bra, and then put a little something on your head. But what it is it's just some sort of rube we've all agreed on that says, all right, we can all just have fun today. Wouldn't it be nice if that was the way society just always was? If you just woke up and go, I want to be fucking slutty Ken doll, and I could just go out there dressed like this with my hair coiffed to the side like a news anchor and be Ken doll. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can, but people will just talk bad about you.
But this is what's interesting is because we live in Los Angeles where people just dress crazy all the time, and the same was in New York. But people go to college for the first time and they start having theme parties. It's really people's, it all comes together at once. Like, do you not remember the first slut? Like, did you ever wear like a super skanky Halloween costume? Did you feel like a rebel?
I always wore sexy Halloween costumes. Super skanky? No. Sexy? Yeah.
But you
tiny little bottoms and tiny little tops? Yeah.
My favorite story of
showing off those abs. Don't have them
my
anymore.
favorite story of you, it was as a kid. Tell your Jasmine story. Because it perfectly explains why you're a monster in today's world.
Am I a monster?
You're a monster.
I'm not
I got to hit you with a bug
monster.
zapper once in a while.
I was upset because it snowed on Halloween and my dad made me wear a turtleneck under my Princess Jasmine costume. And I was excited to show some bare midriff.
How old were you?
Probably 4th grade.
So 4th grade. Jeez, what the fuck is that? 8 years old?
I don't know.
Let's just assume, let's round it up to 10.
But I was so amped.
Why did you want to show
Princess
midriff?
Jasmine.
So what is this pre-pubescent?
We are ingrained, babe.
What, women are?
Yeah, from the time of birth, like you are told in a million ways that your value comes from like your desirability.
And that's what's tough on Halloween is that a lot of times like men go for the funny costumes and women go for the sexy costumes. But isn't that a good example of like what sells? If a guy wants to get laid, I once dressed up as Richard Simmons, okay? I got a Napoleon Dynamite wig. I got the tall socks, I'm talking booty shorts. I'm talking, I had to tuck the balls away. Like, you got to be careful how you sit because your dick's going to come out the side of the shorts, runner's shorts. I had a tank top, and I was a jazzerciser. If you're young and don't know Richard Simmons, live a little. Anyway, my story, I lived in Harlem. I was on 125th Street, which is where there's a lot of cheap clothing stores. I mean, that's where it is. It's next to the Apollo. It's Harlem. That's where you go to get cheap clothing. It's a great place to go Halloween shopping. So I go there. I'm excited. I got the red wig on. Have you heard this story before?
No.
And I'm at a Modell's Sporting Goods. Gotta go to Moe's. I'm at a Modell's Sporting Goods store to try to buy tall socks for my jazzercise outfit. And then this black dude looks at me and he goes, "What are you dressed as?" And of course, I said, Russell Simmons. Now, I, in my head, thought I was still saying Richard Simmons, the gay Jewish jazzercise dancer. But what I said was Russell Simmons, which I'm still mixing it up. Do you know who Russell Simmons is? I don't know. He's a hip hop mogul. So I just told this black guy I was dressed as a hip hop mogul with red hair, and it wasn't until I walked out of the place like minutes later that I was like, I said the wrong Simmons. I said Russell, and I should have said Richard.
This guy has never thought about this encounter.
I'm sure he's on a podcast right now being like, this white motherfucker came into my place, didn't wear blackface, stayed in whiteface, and wore Richard Simmons. Anyway, but for a guy, it's all about having fun. So then I go out, and I'm dancing all jazzercise style. I got my long white legs, and I got my ginger hat on, and some lady found that attractive and hit on me. That's what you get as a guy. Whereas as a woman, you can dress as the funny thing, but also I don't think men value that in the way that they value someone who just walks by and goes, damn, I could procreate with that. I could make good children with that ass. Because that's what you're saying on the inside. You don't know. You're going, oh, look at that meaty fucking ass. I want to fuck it. But what you're really doing is like, I want to prolong my genetics with that child-rearing rump. You've got a child-rearing rump, Tasha.
I do?
Yeah, that's a nice poetic way to hit on someone. Your rump is child-rearing. Hi, how are you? You look like you can breastfeed for many months with those titties. That's what it is. So anyway, it's the one day that people can just go out and dress like a freak or whatever. I mean, I don't know, but like I said, with the way Instagram is and how like sort of sexually open and positive the world has been, I think the demand for being super slutty has just kind of like calmed down because there's theme parties all the time and all this different stuff you can be. Why don't you talk for a second while I pull up this article here?
Oh, okay, sure. I can talk for a second. I'll just
do another
talking. Do another what, Dave?
Do another I don't know, a
Halloween story? What's one of your favorite costumes of all time?
Sexy lobster. So you could be anything that's sexy. What your Halloween costume says about you. Ulterior motives. As to the sexiness requirement of the costume choices of young adults, it really is simple. It's simply about sex. On another level, it's related to the developmental task of preparing for partnership or marriage, honing the skills and characteristics that attract suitors is a powerful instinct at the young age. So the other 364 days of the year might be devoted to developing a good sense of humor, solid career prospects, or any other number of characteristics attractive to a potential mate. Halloween is particularly well suited to a display of physical assets without looking desperate. I'm not flaunting, it's a costume. That was my excuse, at least, when I strutted around in my homemade belly dancer outfit my freshman year in college. For $5 worth of coin trim sewn on a push-up bra and a couple yards of gauzy fabric for a sarong, I won runner-up in my dorm costume. Yeah, I mean, so anyway, Halloween's a chance to go get laid. It's like how Jewish people have what's that thing called where they travel to the Middle East?
Birthright.
They have birthright. And so I've been told this from Jewish friends that birthright is what the older Jewish people have set up as like they'll pay you to go to birthright because they basically want you to fuck and meet another Jewish person.
It's a free trip, yeah, and they want you to see the homeland and get to experience some the culture and the beauty, and yes, hopefully you meet some other young, attractive Jewish people.
Where my people just had St. Patty's Day where you get drunk and try to fuck somebody.
And throw up in an alley.
You throw up in an alley, you have some corned beef, cabbage, and you try to fuck some chick with freckles. That's what, that's the luck of the Irish for us. But on Halloween, yeah, it's a good example as a time where like you just flaunt what you have. It's a physical, because don't you wonder, like, everyone's so gung ho on like you got to find the soulmate and the right connection, and that's all true too. But the physical human is a third, soul, mind, body, and soul, right? So you got the body, which it's like no offense, but like if one of us, I don't know, you might still love me if I gained 1,000 pounds, but like if you just like sat on the couch and just fucking got gross, it wouldn't necessarily be the physical part of you I wasn't attracted to, but whatever like emerged from that would be gross. You know what I mean? You just wouldn't be like your physical who you are is a result of like the inner joy you have, like going hiking and traveling and being footloose.
What you're trying to say is that they're all connected. Right.
Right.
The health of your mind is reflected in the health of your body and the health of your soul. I don't know.
But isn't it weird though that we almost shame the shaming of the body? Does that make sense? Like nowadays you can't talk about like being big isn't a condition. It's like an empowerment thing.
Well, listen, there's nothing wrong. We shouldn't be shaming people for things out of their control, right? And there are plenty of reasons why you aren't a size 0. Not everybody's meant to be a size 0. Not every body is meant to be a size 0.
But privilege is something out of people's control. Like if you're born with a nice ass, you have ass privilege. I'm born white. I have white privilege. So you can't shame someone for something that's out of their control then, right?
Exactly. That's what I just said.
No, I'm thinking it's a good point that because I think people do get shamed for things that are out of their control. But something that's in your control is the ability to learn kind of like how to have a better diet and be active and be all happy. And I'm not talking about being a size 0.
Maybe stop ruminating about that uneaten cake.
Oh,
maybe just let it go.
Anyone wants to send us a cake, P.O. Box, stuff my face. Everyone knows me. That's the through line is I've got an addiction to food. But isn't it much nicer than I don't have an addiction to like alcohol and I don't just like have a Jack Daniels and throw a bottle at you in the middle of the night. Instead, I secretly, walk in here when you're sleeping and eat like 7 of those chocolates.
What'd you
don't
eat?
look. I don't want you to find out. I had 3.
Them in the middle of the night?
I had 3 chocolates.
I asked you to get the chocolate specifically so that I could have them for when I was craving chocolate.
If anyone's wanting to know how much improved your sex life becomes when you get engaged, I had to drop Tasha off at the front door so I could go park the car because I wasn't going to let 2 Dancing with the Stars contestants walk down a dark alley. So I drop her off at the front door. I go around the corner to park the car. I did put a jacket on because I wasn't going to wear a leotard. I wasn't going down that way.
Sparkly leotard.
Local podcaster found beaten to death in a sparkly sequin. Sequin. That's what the name of the guy was who found me at Modell's. Saquon Barkley. It's the guy's name, right? And anyway, what was I talking about? So I get back to the apartment all excited for I don't know, maybe a little Dancing with the Stars sex.
Sexy
Maybe we do a
time.
little Paso Doble in the bedroom. Maybe I give you the old Viennese waltz. I don't know. Maybe we pound it out to a little Argentine tango. Who knows? Sky's the limit. Well, she's passed out in bed, fully clothed in a jacket. You're passed out in bed. You do the whole thing where you put the whole sheets over you like you're a corpse in a morgue. You've just packed yourself for the casket. You just go full under the cover. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm choosing to be the guy in a leotard who's about to eat chocolate alone. I guess that's my sex life. You're not at nighttime?
I don't know what time I woke up, but I woke up and took off my coat and I undid the pantyhose. They're dancers pantyhose, so they have a little hole in the bottom so you can pull them up. So I got the pantyhose off my feet and I took my jacket off, and then I woke up again around 7 and finally took off my leotard and tights.
See, I wanted to fuck in this leotard. I was excited. I was like, do you do the pull to the side? Because this leotard doesn't have buttons where you can't. This doesn't have the kid leotard buttons or whatever. Snaps. It doesn't have snaps. So my leotard, I had to contort my broad shoulders. This is a male large too. So I don't know what these little Russians are wearing when they're prancing around in their costumes. But I don't know if you're watching on the YouTube. I put this back on without the actual leotard part. Look at
So you're just gonna have a stretched out leg hole?
Yeah, because I had a hard time, and I was thinking what if we did have a little I don't know, a contemporary bumping of uglies, as it were, Dancing with the Stars style. What if I showed you my mirror balls trophy? What if I gave you the perfect 10 or 6? But I thought and then you just slide the crotch hole to the side and you go old school quick sex style.
You have such a wild imagination.
Well, we're in our early, late to mid 30s. At least I am. You're in your early to mid early 30s, and I think that it's important to we should be having Halloween sex. I'm
sorry, I passed out.
We should be spraying we should have Halloween themed lube. We should really be we should be thrusting into this podcast.
You really like themes, I think.
Yeah. And also, so I think let's talk about this and we'll get out of here. I think it's important for let's address what I want to help my brethren get laid on Halloween. I think the best Halloween costume a male can have is Reno 911. It's funny, but you've also got handcuffs for the ladies. So you can be this. Do you know what I'm talking about? Reno 911, the short shorts?
Yeah, the short shorts. And you show off some thigh.
Showing off
Girls
leg.
are attracted to a nice thigh.
Thighs are good. Thighs in the primitive times show that you can run and hunt bison or saber tooth. It means
you're strong and fast.
Yes, you're strong and fast. And then you've got the cop shirt, which can be busted. Or you can be the chubby guy who's like, I ain't afraid of my body. And then that's sexy too. So I think being a Reno 911 is a good bet for a guy. And again, for women, you really can't go wrong as long as you just don't fuck up your face with a mask or anything like that. Show off what you have. Ladies, you're gonna do fine. Just Halloween is about the icebreaker. Just like any sort of themed party, the thing you need to do as a guy on Halloween, if you're out with your buddies or going out to some party, is to be inquisitive. What's your costume about? But also be slightly ribbing. Like you right now, I could be like, what are you, a snow queen? What's your deal? And then you go Dancing with the Stars contestant, and I go, you got to move? You can be engaging to someone based on what their costume is. It's a new chance to have a different identity and be like a rock star for the night. You can get out of your shell. That's the problem, I think, with people that are nervous about dating, is that you always think somebody's watching you. So it's I don't want to pull my hair back and wear it a different way because I'm going to look stupid. To who? Wear the dumb hat. Put the fedora on. Seriously. It's better than the bangs you've been trying to get laid having for the last 10 years. You know what I mean? Do you ever have that feeling where like you've been confident and out in the world long enough, you probably don't feel this way, but like there's a time and a place when you got to look and go like, well, maybe I don't wear the buttoned up shirt tucked in this way. Maybe I just wear a t-shirt and jeans. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think the beauty of Halloween is that you get to really express your creativity. That's why like choosing a Halloween costume is always such like a process, because like you go through all these ideas. You're like, nah, that's not the one. That's not the one. That's not the one. Because you want to pick something that really you can like run wild with your creativity, something that makes you really excited, so that when somebody asks you what you are, you light up. You know?
But some people are good, like New Year's Eve. Some like when I was single, New Year's Eve, I had a "Kiss Me, It's a New Year," necklace on. I had the what? This would have been a great New Year's Eve outfit. You know what I mean? But like, I knew the game I needed on New Year's Eve to put myself in the right scenario that I might meet somebody, and that's what Halloween's all about. It's about not sitting in the booth in your Wolverine costume, but mingling, going to meet a couple, whatever. And I don't know. I think that Halloween dick energy that you can feel on Halloween, you need to take that into everyday life and say, I don't give a fuck. I got Halloween dick energy. I'm going to dress weird. I'm going to dress, whatever. Like, get away from the norm. I think that's the best way to stand out, is to get away from the norm. When growing up in New England, everyone
or
had
to just be true to yourself.
Yeah, be true to yourself. But everyone growing up had just bootcut jeans on with a Abercrombie and Fitch shirt. Like my buddy Joel, I love Joel, but like you knew two buttons undone, two of the sleeves rolled up but not all the way. Like, you weren't an engineering student, you were just like light free. And it's like every bro looks the same exact way. I don't know, just throw a freaking wrench in the system, be a little different, and that's what Halloween's all about. Be a little different. Anyway. You don't possess the ability to offer advice because you're just a cute chick. You don't know what it's like you could dress up as a poop emoji.
No, I absolutely know about changing your identity through changing your outfits. 100%.
But you're going to get laid you're going to have guys hit on you regardless of what you dress as long as you don't cover up your body. I hate to break it to you. No, I'm saying
not necessarily
if you went as like a Barney, full Barney costume, the dinosaur.
I thought we were talking about real life, not just Halloween.
But I'm just saying, you're the thing men are attracted to. You walk by and they're going to be like, oh shit, fuck yeah. Like we said before, it's going to be a visceral reaction. Be like, oh shit.
Now listen, I'm about to throw a wrench in your system.
Please.
The type of people you can affect, the type of people you attract by your outfit. So maybe I'm not interested in a guy who's only into me for my body. Maybe I'm interested in a guy who appreciates my sense of humor or appreciates my creativity or whatever. And maybe that's the reason I dress as a full Barney, because I want to attract a guy that thinks that that's hysterical and appreciates that I went for it as a Barney.
Because no guy gets turned on quicker than hearing, whoa.
When you're like a goth kid or an emo kid, it's because you want to attract other people who are the same as you. If you're a Abercrombie and Fitch person, it's because you want to attract another Abercrombie and Fitch person.
Well, it's interesting. You bring up a good point. In this article I read, it did talk about how being funny as a female, like not just being a sexy nurse, but like a funny sexy nurse, or putting like a mustache on a funny costume, what it does is it at least gives you the pass to think that the guy's into you for a sense of humor, not just your looks, which is good. But again, we're generalizing here, saying all men are just attracted to a sexy woman.
You said it.
But
You've said it 45 times.
I'm just saying, if a hot chick walks by a construction site, they're not whistling at her because she looks like she can tell a funny joke. They're not like, woo, mama.
But that's
knock,
exactly
knock.
to my point, is that you can affect the type of people who are attracted to you by the way you dress.
Yeah. And it's also for Halloween's sake, it's also good to like get on the same page with other people. Like my buddy Joel and I in college, we had the funniest Halloween. We threw a Halloween party. I have a video of this on my old YouTube, which I never accessed. I should put it in the link. I really, if I can look in the description of this podcast, if I can find it, I'll link it here. It was, we dressed as rhythmic gymnasts. So we had the full, did I ever tell you this one?
No.
So we had I had like, as a typical male gymnast, I had like the tight spandex pants and then a tank top, and then we had like the chalk in the hands, and like I had actually like taped up my wrists like a gymnast would, but then I taped a beer koozie to my wrist, so I had a nice beer with a beer koozie, and then we just had the rhythmic, because this was like the old time, old school, the movie when they had rhythmic
Rhythmic.
Rhythm. There's no N there. Rhythmic.
I
thought there was an N in there. Rhythmic. The old rhythmic dancers had the, in old school where you had the thing. And we were just like, we were like a good duo act there. And then Darren shows up. Again, this is 2007. Or 2006. This is fall 2006. This ages me. He shows up dressed as a stingray on his arm, and the stingray stabbing through Steve Irwin. He dressed up as Steve Irwin with the stingray attached to him that he had built, and like he went to, because Steve Irwin like just died that year, and this is like blasphemy to the Aussies, right? And he did like a Halloween costume at Casey's, which was the university bar, and he got like booed off stage. Anyway, so I gotta find the video. I should post that on Instagram, like a throwback video. But anyway, I wish everyone well. Throwing condoms out the windows after you fucked a Barney. So hopefully somebody fucks a Barney out there, and let us know your Halloween stories. Let us know what's good, and also good luck with that math equation. I'd be really sad if no one emails me the solution to that.
Nobody has a pen and paper to write that bullshit down. You made it the longest, most complicated problem.
Well, is it worth $30 worth of soap? You know what I mean? Like, what's it worth to you out there, folks? Anyway, we didn't talk about the engagement. Do you want to end on that? Or do you want to do that another time?
Sure, it's up to you.
I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but we got engaged. We mentioned it, but we didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about the whole how it all went down and all that.
But can we make this story really quick?
Because you want to leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, make it quick. We're at 45 minutes. Here, 20 seconds. I proposed in Thailand. She said yes. And then we went and bathed a couple elephants after that. Done.
That's not the story, though.
Oh, you want the story with how I got bloody and everything?
The blood is the least of my concerns. But basically, okay, so Thailand. Time difference, we're like wide awake at 5 a.m. every morning, like raring to go. So we would get up and like go to breakfast, then go do an activity. If we got done in time, grab second breakfast before it closed. So it's our second morning in Thailand.
Can I rewind?
What?
The first day was the longest day of our lives. We get to Thailand at like midnight. We get late night food on the beach at this resort. We're on an island. We're on a private island. It's this tiny little it was Muslim, right?
Yeah.
Tiny little Muslim island in the middle of Phuket, a 5-minute ferry off of the mainland. So on this tiny island, there's this resort's called the Coconut Village Resort, I think. Is that right? The village at Coconut Island? It's called Coconut Island. The village at Coconut Island. And and I picked this resort to propose at it because it was beautiful. It had this quintessential long Thailand dock. It had a nice beach. But anyway, we get there late at night. They still have there's just a couple drunk Aussies partying around. There's always drunk Aussies. Wherever you travel, there's drunk Aussies. They're out there, they're drinking. They're like, oh, mate, nar, pass me another, whatever. And so we get there, we have some food, and then we pass out. The next morning, we wake up, again, time zone fucked up. It's like 7 or 8 a.m., and we wanted to go do a bike ride. So there's like a local dude. What was the dude's name?
I don't remember.
His name. Nice guy. Local guy. And, this is, you tip these guys the equivalent of $2, and they're friends with you for life because you just like paid off their mortgage or whatever because the exchange rate's insane. So we're just like Monopoly Man, just tipping left and right like fucking assholes. And the other Aussies, like they don't tip, right? So we're just like balling out. But anyway, we go on a bike ride at the island at like 8 a.m. It's like 200% humidity. I'm already sweating through my linen shirts, and we meet a couple older Australian dudes named Kevin and Dave. They were the nicest people. They were so nice. So it was just Tasha, myself, Kevin, and Dave, these two older Australian men. And by older, I mean they were probably in their 50s.
Sure.
They were like, they were there with their wives. Their wives have slept in, and they were going on a hike, on a bike by themselves. So we did a bike ride around the island. We got to go to this tiny little Muslim school where we got to watch the kids. They would all do like, they had like a band in the morning. So the guy would talk, and everyone's sweating. You just begin sweating when the day starts. It's so fucking hot, so humid. And they have a little marching band. They parade through the streets on the way to their classes. It was very cool. And, it wasn't like, by all means wasn't third world, but it was a soft second world. This is second world. They just got power to the island recently. Like most of the power is by solar panels, and they have like rain catcher, like they have I just lost the thing. They've all got like rain barrels off of the roofs. It's a very self-sustaining island. And anyway, so we go on this hike with them, and then they're like, oh, like later, like we just become good friends with them. We experienced a several-hour-long journey with them. We became good friends with them.
We met their wives.
We met their wives
with them at the pool.
And then we hung out at the pool, and they're like, oh, for tonight for dinner, come have dinner with us. And we're like, all right, cool. So like now we're adopted by these Aussies, and so we go to dinner with them. We have a couple singas, which are the Thai beer. Singa? Is that what it's called? A singa? Have some Thai beers. We're getting all wasted, and then the Aussies. This is our first full day there. The Aussies, the dudes go, oh, when you gonna propose to her? What the fuck? They start shitting on me.
Ribbing on him for making me wait so long.
Ribbing on me, and then I'm just there with my teeth gritting down like, you fucking assholes. I got this thing sitting in my podcast equipment in my luggage because I didn't want to put it in the safe because Tasha controls the safe. So I had nowhere to hide the ring. And I didn't even tell the story of getting the ring. Jesus Christ, that was an adventure. That's an adventure for another day. But anyway, so they all start making fun of me. The wives are like, no, Kevin, no. Like they were just, because I think women understand how tacky that is, because you never know someone's situation. Because I think it is a personal thing to be like, oh, why don't you? And for like several years, I've had to just deal with people saying, why don't you do this?
You know what? Well, you wouldn't have had to deal with it for several years if you just, I don't know, had your shit together.
Yeah, well... Maybe if you fucked me on Halloween one of those years, maybe if you didn't just pass out full, Mormon style, we'd have a chance. I'm kidding. I'm not using anything against you, honey. I'm happy to be engaged to you. It's all just kidding. But so anyway, they all make fun of me. We have a laugh, and then the next morning we wake up, and I was going to propose that night, but I was like, I want to propose soon. I want to get it. I want to get it over with, and I mean that with all love. I want to be done. I want to be able to tell random people that we're engaged and all that random shit. I wanted the clout. It would have been the worst case scenario to get engaged on the last day, and we just tell our gate agent at Air China that we're engaged. Now I wanted everyone to know, possible upgrades, champagne, whatever. We're engaged, bitches. Just the whole thing. And what I really wanted, which I've never gotten, is that restaurant where I get to go up and go, she said yes. I never wanted to propose in public. I told you this for years. Well, just because it's weird. It takes the love away. In my personal opinion, it takes the love away from the moment and more towards like strangers, and then people are projecting onto us, and they're all like,
they're
clapping.
Projecting their love and excitement and happiness. And you get to bask in the collective good feelings.
You're right. That's what I missed out on, is because my love language. I would have loved for a bunch of strangers to be like, good on you, mate. Just run all this happy for us and everything. But also I just wanted it to be a private thing. So anyway, it's like 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m., whatever it was. We start walking to the beach from our little bungalow, and we were going to go
to the beach
restaurant. There's a nice restaurant under these beautiful canopies next to these infinity pools, all next to the beach, which is next to the dock. It's beautiful. And as we're walking there, there's just the morning fog was still rolling off of the sky, and there was a cool like light reflecting off of it. And I was like, oh, fuck, I need to propose. I just need to do this and get it over with. And I wasn't planning on it because I didn't have any of this shit on me. So anyway, I go, honey, get the breakfast ready. I'm going to go run back and get the camera so we can retake a photo, because we had taken a photo the first day of Tasha on a bench that was hanging from a palm tree on the beach. So I go, we need to retake this photo. It's perfect. And she was like, all right, cool. So I run back to the bungalow. Now, when we had left the bungalow, there was a giant spider. This is Thailand. Everything's bigger. The spiders, it's just we're in the tropics. When you're in the there was long-tailed macaws, monkeys running around. You're just worried about lizards biting everything's big. We saw some giant spiders too. Like I'm talking like huge arachnids, right? And anyway, so we had ducked around a spider web with a spider to leave the villa. And then now when I was running back and I had to do this like flip-flop run. You ever run in flip-flops? It's kind of like a duck quacking run, like you're running with like flippers, like you're scuba diving. So I'm running back, and then I was like, I'm not going to duck around this fucking spider. I got to get it out of the way. So I reached down into the shrubs. It's the tropics. There's shrubs everywhere. And I just try to rip off this Jurassic Park-sized branch. But because of that, it ripped through my finger. So I still like ripped it off, but like I feel like if you cut yourself with glass, it's a very smooth cut. But cutting yourself with a plant, it's a very. I'm sure when you get on the microscopic level of a plant, it's a very jagged cut. Not to mention whatever's on that plant is in defense of the plant now into my skin, my blood system. So my left hand is throbbing. Luckily, it's my left hand. It's my left finger right here. So I just fucking Zorro through the spider, get all that shit out of the way. I'm sweating balls. I go into the place. I grab the fucking ring. I grab the tripod and the camera, and then I military jog, flip-flop my way back to the beach, set up the camera. I'm panting. I'm sweating. I frame it up perfectly. You're in the shot. No one's on the beach. It's quiet. It's perfect. Let's fucking do this. Turn it on. And then I sit on the bench, and then you're like, babe, where's the flash? Because you think it's a self-timer. And then I go, honey, shut up. Just let me have this moment. I'm bloody. I'm sweating.
Is that what you said?
That's what I said.
Shut up.
That's what I said on the inside. And then you start patting my chest, thinking that there's a ring.
Well, because here's what happened. I turn around. I look at you. Your face is completely ashen. You look terrified. And your shirt is vibrating. You're shaking. You were shaking. And I can see your linen shirt. You know how linen's sort of stiff. I can see it just shaking.
But that's the fight or flight.
Chest.
That was my fight or flight moment.
And immediately I put it together. I see that the flash is not going. I see that you're shaking. I see that your face looks like terrified.
But we were at this distance here, and you did the double chin. You did the same move you did when I first tried to kiss you. You double chinned away. I was like, ah! So if you look
terrified.
at the videotape, you look like.
And then I tried to feel your breast pocket because I was like, "Is there a ring in there?" I was in shock.
I said, "Honey, I don't know what I said in real life, but in my head, I was like, shut the fuck up and let me do this because I got to do this." And then I said, the cheesiest, we're on the other side of the world bullshit. And then we were both. And then that was good. And then what I aired on the Instagram was the moment.
Do you want to redo your speech to me sometime?
No, I think that's best left in Thailand.
I think you should redo. I think you should have a second take at your
Well, either way, I don't regret. I'm happy with how it all worked out. There's probably a million places I would have loved to propose. I would have loved to propose in Griffith Park. I've thought about it for so long of all the different places that would have been a good place in our memory, but it was nice to make new memories. The best part of all that, there's three best things. The three best parts of that was that it was at 6 a.m., right? So I showed the video on my Instagram of us walking back from the bench that I proposed on. In which, by the way, I set up the camera wrong, so the framing was all off. So I was like upstaging you. So I was trying to bump the bench with my ass to like open up the shot because I was like, the cinematographer inside of me was like, I got to get the fucking shot. But at the same time, it was the framing was perfect. It was completely perfect. And the best part was we walked back to the camera and then we had a nice hug, which might be the best hug we've ever had. It was a good hug, ladies and gentlemen. It was a good hug. It was a pretty good hug. It was the best of hugs you could have. It was a very good hug. And then we hugged off camera, and that was a very nice moment. And then we had breakfast waiting for us. And in Thailand, for breakfast, you get noodles and sushi and all this. And then I got, plus they Americanize it for you too. So I had like Nutella on crepes and like noodles in chow mein. And it was fucking amazing. And then we see the Australians, and I'm like, I was looking for them as like a guy at a bar was looking for like someone who fucked his girlfriend that they wanted to fight. I was like, let me show me where these fucking Aussies. I'm going to show them. I'm going to grab your arm and just show it to them. Look what I did. And then we did, and we saw them at different times. So we saw the one Aussie. Was it Kevin's wife or the other, or Dave's? I can't remember which one it was. Dave. And then Chica, we show her, and she was actually like the very funny, sort of cynical energy of all of them, where she was kind of like she kind of looked like the mean lady from Handmaid's Tale. She really did. But I mean this with love because she's awesome, right? And these Aussies are great too. They've got horses in a barn at home. Like they're just really just cool. They're exactly what you'd expect to meet. Cool Aussies when you travel. And we show her, and she's like, no. She starts hugging us and everything. And then her husband comes up, and we show him. And then a few minutes later, the other Aussie comes up, and they were like, I can't believe it, because just hours earlier they were shitting on me. And I'm sure that after the night was over, I'm sure as they're sitting in bed, getting ready, taking their socks off, I'm sure she looked at her husband and was like, why the fuck did you ask them when you're not getting, you know what I mean? I'm sure it was a thing. And then we show up and they're like, ah, and then they were quick to make the jokes. Oh, geez, you listened to us and this and that. And it was fun. And then after that, after breakfast, we went and to an elephant sanctuary and got to meet some old, beautiful elephants. And it was a good day. It was a pretty fun day. And then we got to, the rest of the trip just took off from there. But it was really cool that we got to share that with ourselves and with a couple strangers. So anyway, I don't. Do you have anything you need to add to that story?
No, I think that was a nice retelling.
It's
Good
a
job.
good retelling of the story. So there, you heard it here first, folks. You probably know more about this than our own families do. We have since told everyone. This was, we did get. This was like 6 weeks ago, and we finally told you guys and told our friends and family and the internet. Again, not that people really care, but you know how it is. It's a life event for us. We bring our life events to you guys. You do with it what you must. And anyway, the podcast has been extraordinary. It is symbolic that we share our engagement story on the 360th episode, because we have come full circle. This is a full circle. We've come COME. We didn't come last night, at least not together. I came when I ate some of the chocolate alone in my leotard. Anyway, I did want to shout out the Patreon. If you haven't already, join the Patreon. Patreon.com/thesap, THESAP, Patreon.com/thesap. Jonesy and I had an episode this week, and we started doing like, Jonesy comes over once a month for the Patreon. I don't know, maybe people are wrong, maybe people don't agree with this, but I think it's some of the best, funniest content out there. It's what we do is great, but what Jonesy and I do is like bros from different, like two bros that like, we met later in life and we just connect. So he reads these crazy stories, weird stories from the month, and we just bounce back some like the most irreverent, like you might learn something, but that's not what it's about. So we start talking about our knowledge of Tesla and Nikola Tesla and Edison, and I start reading him my jokes that I wrote as Nikola Tesla, because I was going to go as Nicholas Tesla and do stand up as Nicholas Tesla, and I wrote some funny jokes that you said were not funny, and I read them to him. The funniest, oh man, I'm gonna air it. I'm gonna air that clip for you guys next. Okay, so I'm gonna let you hear a little bit of our private Patreon episodes. If you do have the funds, if you do want to join the community, we would love it. We're trying to get as many people over there as possible so we can have a different kind of channel where we can make some of our money back from doing these episodes. So because of our Patreon members, because of the last 8 months that we've done the Patreon, we've upgraded our lighting system. We bought a new camera that's going to be amazing for some of the photos and some of the, digital marketing that you have to do to get people to listen. It's hard to get people to listen to an audio clip. You have to show them some fun on Instagram. You got to do all that. The other thing is, you know what we need to do? I was told this. Did you tell me this or did someone else? That a Facebook page doesn't do as well as a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
So we need to make a Facebook group.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll do that today. You know what? I'm gonna announce it right now. So I'll do it today after I solve the SAP SAT math question. I need to fucking go get a protractor and a graphic calculator to solve. So today we're gonna start the Facebook group on the SAP group on Facebook. So this is going to be a place where we can just have discussions. I'll put the show notes up there as well. And if you could just join, I won't spam you guys. I'm not going to try to sell you Ray-Bans or Oakleys. It's just going to be a place that we can talk about whatever we want to talk about, and I can bring back questions or comments or whatever back to, because I
share some memes.
It should be a private group, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll make it private. If you're on there, I got to do it. What we've done is built a community, but we haven't sort of laid down the tracks for the community to all be together. We know you're out there. I look at the downloads. There's a small but loyal, like if we all fit in, we would all fit into a pretty nice sized theater. We'd be a couple thousand of us out there, and I think we all need a common denominator and a home to share our thoughts. It might be 15 or 20 people that join right away. That's fine, whatever. But it's a place where you can invite your friends, and we can all join and talk about weird things like maybe caramel edibles you can pour on yourself. Because, honey, Halloween's only a couple days away. We still have a chance to put these leotards on and go at it. Okay, I'm just telling you. We haven't, I don't know if we've had engaged sex in a bit. You know what I mean? We've been traveling. I'm just saying. You can keep the ring on. You can keep the tutu on. I'm going to just get a Russian accent and pretend to hack your system. That's it, folks. So anything you need to say, promote, and talk about?
No, don't think so.
I got to go to work. I got a lot of work to do. I got to do the SAT question, and I'm going to send out some soap. We got to do some soap soon. And if anyone has any flavors of soap they want, let us know. I'm open to suggestions, but I think the peppermint is the best. Good on the balls.
Good for Christmas.
Good for Christmas. Good Christmas soap. So patreon.com/thesap, patreon.com/THESAP. Without further ado, on this 360th episode, here is a quick clip of my private chat with Jonesy. Bye, everybody. I'm Dave Neal, and that's Tasha Courtney.
Bye.
Here I am talking about going through elephant shit to find a diamond in the rough.
Let's just say
no, it's fine. I get it.
Let's just say something is brewing. It looks it's going good.
Well, you let me know if you need an insurance guy. I'll tell you best.
I'll tell you more off mic. I have a lot.
My ring's insured for $4,000 more than I spent, so I'd be an idiot not to throw it into the fucking ocean, like Rose from Titanic. That's why she threw it into the ocean. She had an insurance claim.
Finally,
probably.
We get down to the bottom of what really happened.
Jesus Christ, we're all watching this old biddy throw her fucking heart of the sea or whatever it was called into the ocean.
Yeah.
She's over there going to Sotheby's to make $50,000.
In fact, I think she planted the glacier as well to collect on this insurance.
Planted it? It was a hoax. The whole thing was fake news. The violinist, the whole Billy Zane, it was all a fucking ploy. The Russians just blew a bomb out in the Irish deck. They all died.
Yes.
And James Cameron comes in and makes $100 million.
Brilliant. Well, Dave, it's fall and Halloween is here. And with all of this stuff, the pumpkin spice has been...
You're drinking it.
Everywhere. And I'm drinking it right now.
Pumpkin spice iced coffee.
With this iced coffee, and I appreciate it so much. There's a story out of Georgia that I came across that says pumpkin spice Spam is out, and everybody should try it. Pumpkin spice season is here, and it means favorite latte, candle, canned meat will get a makeover as well. Yes, that's right. Spam, the canned pork, is releasing... Well, it already released, because this is an older article, pumpkin spice Spam. The idea was initially brought up as a joke on their Facebook page, but this time they decided, hey, let's release a limited edition Spam available only at Walmart and on spam.com. Other pumpkin spice products are set to drop, always drop, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, etc. But Spam...
Bro, have you been to Trader Joe's? The whole fucking
Dude,
place
every time
is pumpkin spice.
It's pumpkin spice everything. I was there yesterday.
Condoms, everything.
Whoa! I didn't see that pumpkin spice.
And you know who gets the shaft over this pumpkin spice brand is Nutmeg. All pumpkin spice is nutmeg and cinnamon.
Wait a minute, you're saying it's not real pumpkin?
I'm saying there's some there's some other spices in there, but the predominant. Like apple pie, it's nutmeg. Nutmeg is the thing. Pumpkin spice, nutmeg, cinnamon. But you just call it pumpkin spice when none of it has to do with anything that comes out of a pumpkin.
Are you sure about this?
Fake news, man.
You really think the pumpkin spice is a fake spice that we're all just...
It's a conglomerate of other spices.
How can you don't think there's a real pumpkin like a pumpkin? Pumpkin is a thing. It's a thing. You can go and eat it. You can grow it in the garden. You can buy canned pumpkin. But
what do you make when you make pumpkin pie? You get a can of pumpkin and you add nutmeg and cinnamon. That's it.
Sure, but
I don't know if that's true. You might add some cream or whatever. But the point is the spices you add to the pumpkin pie are the spice. Pumpkin. No one's drying out a pumpkin and then shaving it into a spice. It ain't happening.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm just saying, if I were nutmeg,
you'd be upset.
This is like Nikola Tesla, right? He didn't get any of the credit. Thomas Edison got all the credit. So Tesla is the nutmeg.
And Marconi for the radio. Tesla actually invented the radio. Tesla was jacked on more than one occasion.
Bro, I wrote these Tesla jokes. I wanted to be.
You did Tesla jokes?
I wanted to be Nikola Tesla for Halloween because I don't know if you know this. Can you pull up Nikola Tesla?
I know what he looks like.
No,
I can pick him out of a lineup.
I look identical to him with a mustache.
He's got black eyes. He's dark-eyed guy.
No. That's because it's.
Oh, when you do that with your hair.
See, exactly. When I do that and put my hair down, right? When you part your hair down the middle and you're a white guy with a mustache, you look like Nikola Tesla.
He was very pale though. You got a little color from being in Arizona, so you got it. This could be your costume, though, for Halloween.
I wanted it to be. I was looking at... You have to get the rounded collar shirt. You got to get that Titanic.
Yeah.
Speaking of Titanic.
Would you carry around a Tesla coil that was attached to a battery?
I don't know.
How would you round out the costume? How are people going to know that it's you?
Oh, trust me. I look like Tesla. Trust me, bro. People are fast Googling it right now. I posted a side-by-side one year of me and a mustache. Here's the thing. I got to dye the mustache a little darker. I got to be more of a
Your hair
black.
should be a little darker as well. But it's okay. It's okay. Your style is good.
But I got to cut it short.
But he didn't have blue eyes.
Listen, Tesla is my fucking energy. Okay? No pun intended. He's my energy. He's my alternating current.
He's your alternating current?
He's my AC to my DC.
Does your fiance know about your alternating current?
Did you know AC/DC came the band's name came from the Edison Tesla feud. They got this movie coming out called the the War of Currents or whatever. And it's because
is a movie coming out?
DC
No.
because they were fighting to see whose current was going to be the one that was the best.
Well, in case the listeners don't know, we're really nerding out here right here. So when at the very beginning of electricity, Nikola Tesla invented alternating current, but Edison was all on the what is it, direct current?
Yeah,
direct current, which wastes a lot of energy. The current way that we consume electricity now, the original way, which is what Edison put forth, the direct current DC, that shit it allows a lot of excess energy to fly off and it gets wasted. The alternating current that Tesla invented was a way to save more energy, batteries would last longer, et cetera, and they totally did not accept his new alternative for energy because there was already an infrastructure built and they could see that they were going to make a shit ton of money.
And Tesla died poor, and in his lab that he built, they ended up tearing down because he had too many debts.
He's fascinating person. I've read about him. I've studied many documentaries about him. Oh yeah, Nikola Tesla was a weird guy, man. I should do a little thing with him on the Patreon. Maybe I'll do a little.
We should do a full episode on Nikola Tesla.
Well, I could do a total Nikola. I've never done with somebody let's do an episode on Tesla, like a weird guy.
We should do weird news, like weird news in the history.
Would you be down for that?
Whoa.
Pick like a strange, weird.
Bro, this might be a full. This could
be a whole series.
This might be too good.
Yeah, this would be really good.
Apart weird news, and then we'll each come with our own facts about the person and their story,
or the event, or whatever it might be.
Nikola Tesla once said, "If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world." That's fucking poetic.
That's true.
That's poetic.
Did he also say if?
But then I wrote, luckily electricity is stored in batteries, which powers vibrators.
Oh. He actually when his famous quote that was then appropriated by the band was he actually once said at a party in Manhattan, he said "You shook me all night long." And then they quoted him, and then the band just ran with it.
They said, "You got to go," and they sent him down the highway to hell. They did. Jonesy, everybody, coming in hot. Can I read a really bad joke? Because I wrote these in like 20 minutes. These aren't good, but I wrote some jokes. If I were to be Nikola Tesla, he grew up in the early 1900s in New York City, late 1800s. And I go, I live in New York. Dating's tough. I'm on Tinder duty, which means I scrap for wood to keep warm in the winter. I think I was on Tinder. I don't know.
Do you know you do? I mean,
here's a go. In my time, Me Too was what they said after our friend tells us they got tuberculosis. That's it, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. You know where to find that full episode. Patreon.com/thesap is in the description. And we appreciate you guys so much. Happy Halloween. Bye.